Hunter.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Nessa.
This is the Family Showdown!
Howdy folks, welcome back to my top 100 games of all time as of 2019. Hunter, Rebecca, we're here this week, 70 through 61. We're right in the thick of it. What's crazy is this top 10 set is heavy. Heavy. This is my heavy list. It's also very balanced. So I've got 2 new games. 3 games went up and 5 went down. Most of them just a little bit.
What are heavy games doing this far down?
You know what's interesting? I think, like I was telling you, my tastes are fluctuating a little bit. And some of the heavier games are harder to get to the table. So they got punished a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking some, and I still love my heavy games, as you can see, because these are amazing games, but I think a lot of my other games, like, I like to play with some lighter, fluffy stuff to kind of mix it up. So, floating here in the middle-ish are some very amazing, but very heavy games, as you will see. So.
I'm prepared to be disappointed.
Probably.
I better look at the top of my list. Well, the top of my list.
Yeah,
here.
probably. A couple make you cry. It's cool. It's cool. Alright, so my number 70. Oddly enough, this is such a weird thing. Okay, it was 128 last year. It rocketed back up. Oddly enough, I don't know that we've had much that's changed about this. So this mystified me a bit. I know! This is so weird. Battle of the 5 Armies. I really punished this last year. Really punished this because I was like, it's not War of the Ring, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bleh, get rid of it. But it's still like the fighting with... It's the same fighting mechanisms and setup as War of the Ring 2nd edition. But it's set in The Hobbit instead of The Lord of the Rings. It's got some of the great characters. But it's just the battle section of it. It's not all the political and the maneuvering and stuff that happens in War of the Ring. It's just the battle part of it. But I like the battle part of it. I don't know. I think I took it off being punished, and I think this is where it should be, honestly. I think this is where it should have been probably last year without being punished. I really think that's what happened. Go figure. I know. It's a pretty game. It's an awesome game. It's got amazing miniatures. It's Lord of the Rings. Need I say more? Yes, you have this high up.
It's not Lord of the Rings.
It's The Hobbit.
No, I actually have it lower than you.
What?
Because, yeah, I punitated this one pretty hard. See, I did just the opposite that you did. You pushed it back. You pushed it up your list. I pushed it down my list.
Really?
It went from 41 to 90 for me.
Wow, that's so
pushed
funny.
It way down because...
That's so funny.
Because if I'm going to play...
Something with this...
That big of a game with that much setup...
We play War of the Ring.
We may as well play War of the Ring. It is shorter. It is quicker to set up. It is easier to reteach.
It's still got really cool miniatures.
And it's my favorite book.
It's true.
But it is a lesser game.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
In other words, I mean, clearly, if it's my number 70, it's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, we sound like we hate these games. It's so ridiculous. Like I said, they're amazing games. It's just compared to what is War of the Ring to us. You're right. If we're going to go through all of that trouble, then we're going to get the big one out.
Yeah.
Because it's not that much
more.
more.
I said there is advantages. It's easier to teach, easier to set up. It is shorter.
It is. Potatoes, right? There you go.
But you get what you pay for in time and effort.
Oh, that's true, too. That's true. I mean, you know. End of the Hobbit
All right,
versus
so
End
no-
of the War of
So
the Ring.
far, I'm not disappointed.
You will be soon. All right, so my number 69 went up. It was 81 before, and I think it was just getting another play in and just remembering what a great, solid game this is, which is Five Tribes, or if you watch, this game is broken, Fief Tribes. And I'm always going to call it Fief Tribes. But this game, oh, man, it's beautiful. It's got neat art. It is very, almost like puzzly. You have to really protect yourself, be conscious of analysis paralysis. We made an agreement as we saw this game. We're like, ooh, this could be really bad. Either one of us would sit there all day looking at all the different choices. I think you calculated this. There were like 80-some choices in the first turn.
No, the first turn is like 2,000 different choices.
Oh, there you have it. See,
Or 4,000. I don't remember what it was. It was a huge number.
It was a ludicrous
Look at
number.
my by the numbers. One of my earlier by the numbers.
There
I
you go.
calculated. I set up the board and I calculated how many moves there were to make, and it was like
It's ludicrous.
2,000 or 3,000 different moves.
Yeah. So you get the idea of why there's some analysis paralysis in here. If you just pick the first thing that you see that looks like a good move, you go with it. And you will not be sorry, because this game has so much going for it. If you let yourself fall into the trap of AP, you'll never come out again. You may still be playing this game right now as you're watching this video in which you're like screaming for help. We can't hear you because the camera's one-sided. Just saying. Don't give in to analysis paralysis, people. But it's got some cool abilities. It's a little bit of like this area control stuff, because you can put down trees and things and get all these extra victory points. And they've got the djinns that give you extra cool superpowers and different ways to get victory points. And each different colored meeple that you're doing your Mancala movement with is a different action and a different ability. Some of them give you victory points. Some of them let you assassinate the other players' like characters and stuff. Some of them let you buy things from the market, like the djinns. Other things let you earn money based off of the tiles that are out in different things, like setup. And just it's a really neat thing. Like you said, it's just so full of amazing choices. There is not, until you get to the very end of the game, there's really no limit to how you want to play. It's so cool. And I like that. There you go. 5 Tribes. What number is it for you?
185.
Yeah. If you tell me it's light, though, I'm gonna smack
No, it's
you.
not light. It's just it's puzzly, and I'm not a puzzly person.
Puzzly.
It's very puzzly. I want it. It physically pains me to quickly pick something.
That is hard, especially when you're like, there's something better, probably.
I want to math out, like, okay, if I do that, it's going to give me 7 points. But if I do this, it's going to give me 8 points. If I do this, it's going to give me 6 points.
You almost, with that game, want to set up those timers like they have the chess games, you know? You're like, and then you go and you do your move.
Yeah, I can see how the people could just they
Time
literally
out.
could just be overwhelmed and their eyes just glaze over. There's so many choices, so many things to do. Like I said, it really, it feels like I'm punitating myself by
This word you use.
by picking something quickly. I just go, yeah, that one looks good. I'll do that. But the last couple of rounds, I have to.
Oh my
I
gosh,
have to
last
math
couple
it out.
rounds last a half an hour in
No,
this
they
house.
don't, but
yes, they do.
But I have to math it out at the end. It's just,
I'm gonna start timing
there's
them.
only like 7 or
I'll
8
report it.
choices. I got to figure out which one's the best one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason it's just so
It's true.
low on my list is because of that reason.
Yeah, it is true. All right, well, 5 Tribes, it's amazing. Got to try it. But again, it moved up. My number 68 dropped from 43. This will probably make Hunter very sad because it's so low on my list, because I know it's one of his babies. And that is Western Legends. The look of betrayal. It's so interesting. So, what number is it on your list, sweetie?
You want to jump straight to that?
Sure, why
You want
not?
to jump right in?
Uh-huh. Why
Here's
not?
my number number 6 game of all time.
It's
Western
alright.
Legends. Aha!
It's alright.
It's not alright.
It's kinda meh.
It is one of the best games ever created.
It's good. I'm of mixed feelings about the expansion, and the reason is I really liked the length of the gameplay, and I feel like the expansion made the game longer. I wasn't too crazy about that
Didn't make
because
it
I felt
longer.
it like fit so well. Yes, it did. It does. It totally does.
That's exploration, which is amazing.
Yeah, but anyway. So, this game, Western Sandbox. You can be an outlaw. You can be a lawman. You can switch between the two. You can go rustle some cattle. Quit writing on my board.
It's making a note.
That's
Keep
what he is.
talking.
He's writing smack on my list now. I can
No,
see
I'm
it
not.
clearly in the wrong place.
I'm pre reminding myself to do a certain edit.
No, it's more fun my way. And then, so you go around and you can rustle cattle, or if you're the lawman, you're going to put those cattle right where they belong at that ranch, or sending it off by train to go get shipped off and become those delicious steaks. You've got...
You know that's what's happened to them.
It totally is.
They can go to Happy Farmland.
Okay, they go to Happy Farmland if you're from Hunter's World. And then you can go and gamble in the town. You can go to the bank. You can rob the bank. You can go beat up bandits. There's so many different things you can do. And it's fun because the cards are multi-purpose. They've got cool things that they do, but they also are attacky because you use poker hands and stuff to duke it out. And there's also things that you can buy in the store. Like you can buy yourself a horse, a faster horse, or you can buy a pack horse that carries more stuff. You can get mules. You can upgrade those. So you can go from a quarter horse to a Mustang or something like that. Same thing. You can upgrade your guns. You can get all these. You can get a 10-gallon hat. And I forget, that helps you gamble or something, doesn't it? Yeah. It's got fun little abilities like that. There's all these different things going on. But surprisingly, I don't feel like it's difficult to learn. I think this one was an easy one. As far as a sandbox game, I feel like the teach for this is way shorter than Zaya.
Yes.
And I would think it's way shorter than Merchants and Marauders. This is by far, I think, the easiest sandbox game to learn and teach. So, to me, it feels lighter because of that. Because Zaya and Merchants just have so much. And you go into town in those games, and there's like 40 things for you to do. Well, here it's a lot more streamlined, which is kind of nice because, again, you're not going to get stalled out thinking about it and get to go and do a bunch of things. And if people are in town with you, like, you can say, hey, you want to come to the poker table and play poker with me and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's a really fun game.
This sounds like an amazing game.
It's
Man,
alright.
it's
okay.
amazing. It sounds even better than some of those other games you mentioned, maybe. I don't know.
That didn't sound stilted at all.
It's very interesting that it's so low on your list when you described an almost perfect game.
An almost perfect game?
Well, there's 5 better games, so it's almost perfect.
Actually, I'd argue that there's 67 better games.
Invalid.
I'm not sick.
Or invalid.
There you go. 2 very different things. One's a noun, one's an adjective.
Oh,
And this discussion with my
grammar me.
Yeah, well,
Graminator.
don't be illiterate.
Western
All right,
Legends,
so
an amazing game.
it's all right. I feel like I'm quoting someone I know. All right, so my number 67 dropped a little bit. It was my 54 last year. Still pretty stable, I think. And it's heavy. Heavy game. Heavy. Because it's La Sarta and it is Lisboa. This poor, unfortunate city. I just, as soon as I learned, like, the history behind this whole thing and all that, it just made me sad. I mean, this town, what started it? Was it the earthquake that started it? The earthquake started.
Earthquake, tsunamis.
Then they got a tsunami because of the earthquake, and then they had it just caused fires throughout the city. I mean, this town got the 1, 2, 3 punch. We're talking, what's that? Jab, cross, uppercut kind of thing going on here.
It's like Monty Python in the Holy Grail, where we built the tower, that tower fell down, and the next tower fell down, and sunk into the swamp. The next power fell down, burned, and then sunk into the swamp or whatever.
And then we built up another one on top of that one.
And that's the tower you're getting.
Yeah. That's Lisboa. You're just like, oh, this is so sad. But you're helping rebuild the city, and you're like pulling rubble away. I mean, it's sad. You're pulling away this rubble and trying to rebuild your city. And of course, in Lacerda fashion, it's an incredibly complicated thing to do. But then it's his elegant way of like, well, you got a couple moves you can do. They sound really simple, but then it fans out and does all these other things, and so your decisions melt your brain in a good way. Awesome game. I love Lacerda. If you like heavy games, you need to try Lacerda stuff, and Lisboa wouldn't be a bad one of his to, test out.
I don't know if that's this one.
I would not start with this one, no. Actually, it's pretty heavy. I would start with probably like the Gallerist.
Or Kanban.
Kanban, yeah. Yeah, one of those two to start with his games. But, don't stop there. Come visit Lisboa. At least in board game fashion.
I'm pretty close to you, 46. So
see?
We're in the neighborhood. See? I'm a little more high-class neighborhood, but yeah, we're in the same neighborhood. I kind of looking for my front porch. 46. I don't know what that means. I
was like, the 46s have a front porch? Apparently a rocking chair with a cranky old dude in it. Alright, poor Lisboa. Alrighty, so my number 66 is new. It should not be new. It was one of those...
Because we didn't own it yet. No, we owned it.
We owned it. We had played it. I somehow did not get it on my list.
No.
It was one of those weird ones that happened last year. But that does not make it any less cool. And again, it's another heavy hitter. That is Lords of Hellas. Okay. So, just have some cool... Yeah, he's sighing because this is really high up on his list. It's like Greek mythology meets futuristic alien tech meets crazy awesome fighting mechanisms. You know me, I'm not usually a huge area control type of person. There's multiple paths to victory. You can go the attacky route, or you can go by controlling all the temples route, or you can do, there's just like two other ways.
Killing monsters.
Oh yeah, killing monsters. And I think there's another one.
Shrines, monsters, area control. And
there's another way.
What's the other way?
I don't remember the other way.
We always forget one of the ways.
I know, and
it's funny like, we forget different ones.
Yeah, we do. But it's
it's all the way to the bottom. Keep talking.
Oh no. So you have different ways to victory, which is kind of neat because they're all just different enough that if you're going about doing your own thing and you have a bit of tunnel vision, you might not notice that. Meanwhile, as you're trying to get over these different shrines, Hunter's been quietly killing the monsters, or so-and-so's been taking over this whole swath of territory, and as you're waiting in there to try to go get this temple there, the shrine, you're like, ooh, they're going to win by that. It's just really cool. I love the way this game changes. Each one of the different paths to victory is completely viable. We have tried everyone doing different paths to victory, and it was very evenly matched. We've had close games every time we've played it. I love it. The miniatures for the shrines are ridiculous because they're like yay tall, and they put you, as you upgrade parts of it, you build more of the statue and put it together. Oh, it's so cool. I really like that. Where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, hello. And apparently we have more expansion stuff. Did we play with this? I don't think we've played with this. What is all this? I don't think we've played with this stuff yet. Where'd all this come from? Oh, yes. This is just one miniature. Is this not ludicrous? Look at this thing. Yeah, we haven't played with this yet. This is the Atlas expansion. Here's Atlas. He's a big boy. And what's this one? If that was Atlas, what's this? I'm so confused. Is this more Atlas? This is probably more of him. He's probably twice as big. Oh, there's cards. Nope, this is bits and pieces. Okay. Whew, scared me for a second there. I thought the Atlas was like 2 full boxes of nonsense. Hunter's hiding behind a Warlord box. Okay, clearly we've just played with this, and I'm a little bit behind. So this may even go up my list. Because I really did. Seriously, I was pleasantly surprised by this, especially since we had some insane snafu with the miniatures that made me kind of turned off to wanting to even play the game. for the longest time. In fact, we held off from playing it for a long time until Hunter could fix the miniatures to where we could look at them without gagging. But the miniatures themselves look good. It was just the paint job. And, oh my gosh, I just like the way this plays. Again, I'm not a huge area control person, but the area control in this is fun, it's smooth, and everything moves so quickly. Just really, really cool game. And if you like the whole, like, sci-fi, mythology, mishmash, fun stuff, it gets even fun and nerdier and cooler in my book. What number is it on your list,
It's my number 25!
Also low.
Yeah, because I haven't got to play with all the expansions yet.
Yeah, you're punishing it for
And
that.
the fourth way is controlling a monument that's been fully built for 3 turns.
Controlling a monument. Okay, that's what it was.
A fully built monument.
Okay, we didn't mention it. As
I don't think
fully
we've
built.
ever. I don't know if we've ever even finished a monument. Yeah,
Oh yes. I almost won a game that way.
And we kept going and killing each other trying to take it over.
And
I remember now.
And it's funny because I think this game would have probably gone up from the first time I had it on the list. I bet you it would have been lower because we've had multiple plays of it now, like a lot of plays, and we've played it with different player counts. And because we first played it only 2-player. Then we played it more, and just the chaos and the fun and just trying different things each time. It was just really rewarding.
Rewarding?
It was a lot of fun. Usually I don't like games that are like this.
Yeah, but it has deterministic combat.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a lot... Combat's not luck.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really have a lot of luck at all in the game.
No, it's true. It's all skill. So there is that one. My number 65 will make Hunter sad.
You made me sad enough. That's
I
it.
know.
Stop. No more. I can't take any more.
Man,
What are you going to say? Something like... I'm not going to say.
Yeah. This was my 58. Last year it dropped a little bit. I think it's just settling from all the craziness on the list above, honestly. I think it's pretty stable. And that is Le Havre, which Hunter has as like his number 1 game of all time. Look at his eyeballs. He's got like crazy cat eyes. You look like the cat when he's getting hyper. So what list number is this for you?
16.
No, this is
my favorite.
Rosenberg
game.
Yeah, there it is. Not my favorite Rosenberg game. Spoiler.
But she's wrong. But it is your list, so feel free to try to justify your
horrendous
rating
patronize
of this
me,
game.
but I will not be affected by it. Yes, not so well. Yes.
And we even played with the extra stuff.
Yeah, that was fun, actually. That was really cool. So, Le Havre is
the long game. We played the long game.
Very solid
long game.
Uwe Rosenberg game that just continues to shine every time we play it. And you have very tight turns, limited things that you get to do, but the options you have with your choices are just amazing. And so if someone takes one of your good choices, there's always a good plan B and C behind that. And you can go, you do have to feed your people, but there's easy ways to mitigate that by getting ships that produce tons of food for free each turn after you buy them. Or you can build your own great food factory through like bakeries and going fishing. I think last time I had a monster fish engine going where I just was...
Sounds fishy.
It was quite fishy. But then one of Hunter's favorite things to do is to go and raise a bunch of cows, but then slaughter them for the meat because you also get the leather, and you can sell the leather for like crazy victory point stuff. It just takes more steps, so it's a little bit more risky because our turns are so tight. So there's a lot of different things you can do in this game. It's really fun. You take the resources and you upgrade those over time too, so the buildings get more complicated as the technology improves, and it's just solid Uwe Rosenberg. And he just makes solid games. And it's your 16?
Oh.
You're not going to say anything?
I had a discussion with some very experienced gamer types.
Oh, because I'm not.
And they all agreed it is by far the best Rosenberg game.
Do you know what's interesting about opinions? You're stink. Anyway, so... I like that you imply I'm not an experienced gamer. You can bite me. Alright, so... My number 64.
That was one of my implications.
You don't even English. Okay, so Alright, 64 was my 39 and it dropped.
Probably deservingly so.
Not likely. I'm not really sure why it dropped so much. I think it has to do with my tastes kind of changing, and we just didn't get it played as much as I usually like to. That is... Ooh, I forgot it has a insert in it. It's very heavy now, and that is Roll for the Galaxy. Yay! One of the few dice games where I'm going to be like, yes! Because it's Race for the Galaxy with dice, but... it feels like you get more choices in this game. So you roll your dice, and the same style of Race for the Galaxy, you get to pick one action that you're going to do that turn. But as a backup plan, too, if you roll them, and there's other options, you can kind of line them up so that if, say, he picks a different action than mine, if I have dice there, I might be able to get to use those. So cool. And then you go in and you're buying different... like cards that are basically tech to help you build up your engine, or you're getting those planets that give you victory points and also resources and stuff that you can trade and sell for victory points or more money and different things like that. I love the engine building in this. I actually love the dice in this. The expansion is what really did it for me. Yes, I know the expansion had the orange dice, and I like orange. That is a nice bonus, but that was not the reason I liked the expansion so much. What you can do with those orange dice is killer. It is just really good. It brought a whole new level to the game, and it's just awesome. I would recommend, if you like Roll for the Galaxy at all, to get the expansion. Because
the first expansion.
The first expansion, that's right. There was another one, wasn't there, that we were like, whatever.
Yes.
The first expansion with the cool dice.
Ambition.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it.
I think.
No, you're right. It's Ambition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. So, I like the choices. I like the fact that as you cycle through, you can get more dice. You're getting a variety of them. You're rolling them. You're trying to get, as many, hopefully, to be in whatever action you want to do. What I think is cool is there's different ways to, if you don't get what you rolled, different ways to change it to something that you want it to do. So you're not just stuck necessarily with exactly what you rolled. And I really liked that about the game, because obviously when the dice hate you, you need to have a backup plan, and that was my backup plan. And this game covers you for that. What number is this for you? You don't like this as much as me, though.
Nope, I do not.
I like you this game.
But it made my list.
See?
Somewhere. Where's my list?
Wow. I see how it is.
93.
Actually, that's pretty good for you. That's pretty high. Because, it's probably the lightest of the games in this set of 10. Scary thought.
So far it is, I think.
I think it is the lightest. But that's not saying much, because it's still a pretty hefty little game. It's definitely medium.
Especially with the insert.
Yeah, with the insert. Woo, do some weights. Yeah. But the cool thing about the insert is, I might as well, it's very full. But I got to show you the insert for this, because it's pretty cool. And I'm going to throw stuff in the floor. It's cool, too. There's lots of cool going on. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What's cool is you can just pull this out. You got the tray with the dice. Oh, that's this.
The second expansion.
The second expansion. I don't even remember the name of it. It's meh.
Rivalry, maybe?
Something like that. It has these dice that you can customize. I felt like it distracted from the game. That might be also another reason it dropped a little bit, because we're like, we're probably not going to play with these. I don't know. They're kind of meh. I love, though, Ambition and all of the stuff that came with that one. This with the extra dice, I hardly even touched it. I think you did because you just wanted to try it, but I was like, I wasn't that interested in it. There was one aspect of it I thought was okay, but it's just largely detracted from what I think is the greatness of what the game originally was setting out to do. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the expansions, and you might want to read up on them and see if it does what you want it to do before you get them. But yeah, such a fun game.
Yeah, the insert wasn't designed for the expansion, so we had to actually, our cups are actually sitting over there.
Yeah, the little cups are not in the box, but we were able to fit everything in that way. But again, with Ambition and the other stuff, it's heavy duty. 'Tis a good game. Oh, you know what makes it fit better? When you don't add the stuff in. I'll be doing that later. Don't mind me. All right. So, my number 63 went up. It was number 75. I think it went up because we got to play it again during the resolution. And gosh darn it, if that game doesn't always make a really good impression, plus the name's in Latin, that might be a small perk, but not a reason I'd bring it up. And that is Ora et Labora. Whee! For such a light box, this is a stinking heavy game.
So what does it Ora mean?
Pray.
And Labora?
Work.
Pray and work.
Yeah, work and pray. Actually, it's pray and work. I don't know why. We always say work and pray, but they put it as pray and work. I got nothing. It sounds cooler.
It's Ora et Labora. Or and.
Et.
I guess is that an E-T?
Yes, it is, actually.
Or is it an sign?
That's et.
I don't know. Go ahead.
So, again, my buddy Uwe Rosenberg. Love his games. This one is a heavy monster. This is, 2 to 3 hours of your life. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. What I like about this game that makes it cool is its uniqueness in that it's got this little bad boy right here. So, this is your Wheel of Resources. What? So, what you do on your turns and stuff is it keeps track of, and it moves with you. You see the little arrow, so it moves over each time. Your resources are tracking behind it, so you have to decide when you're going to take resources because they may not fill up again for a while. There's a little bit of a press your luck. Do you want to wait until it builds up a little more? Or do you want to take them before somebody takes your resources from you? Not a good plan. So there's all of that going on. Meanwhile, you're building up your areas, and obviously, as you can see from the land, you can get more stuff to build. And where's all my... I was trying to find the cool...
What are you looking for?
Oh, I was looking for the little player thingy-madoodle.
The player boards?
Oh, wait. Really? No. Those are the beaches. They're not all that big. But, so you've got... And you can build up different land types. And this is also pretty neat. So you've got some of the buildings and stuff you can only build on the shore. Or there's some that are only water. And then you flip to the other side, and they've got mountains. They've got the... plains, I guess, fields. There we are. You've got your farmyard, and you start with this, and then you're building from there to get all these different types of buildings and stuff. Meanwhile, you're doing all this crazy resource management. He's got these really neat, unique cards. There's just so much going on in this game, and it's funny because, again, it's such a heavy game, but the pieces and everything, it doesn't physically feel heavy. It seems like a lot of his games, you've got something like Feast for Odin. That game feels like a ton of bricks. This game does not, and I feel that it's just as meaty in different ways. But the wheel makes it unique because there's not a lot of games that do something like this where you're pressing your luck with your resources as they go around. I really enjoy that. If you haven't tried it and you like heavier games, you should definitely try out Uwe's Ora et Labora.
Except it's out of print.
Of course it is. So find a library that has them for a friend and play it because, again, 'tis very cool.
Ora et Labora, it was my number 19.
Wow.
19. Wow. So it's funny, I have a lot
you liked it that much more than me. That's interesting. I love this game.
I like Le Havre slightly more than Ora et Labora.
Yeah.
And she likes Ora et Labora slightly more than Le Havre.
2 spots more, apparently.
But no, I love this game. I love the way the resources work. I love how the cards, the spatial aspect of the cards being adjacent to each other do different things.
That's true. I didn't even mention that.
It's got just a lot. It's got 2 different modules you can play. You can play like French is like wine.
Oh, that's
Italian
right. It's the wine and then
Ireland's beer, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's wine versus beer.
And you play with different cards. It tricks up the game. Like it's 2 different, completely different. Not completely, but very
similar.
Slightly different ways to play the game. But they do make the game feel a little bit different and how the cards work together and stuff.
Yeah, because
like
one's
that.
Irish and one's not. Totally different.
Killing me. Anyway, but no, it's tableau building. It's resource management.
Very much that.
Got a lot of cool things going on. I like it.
And again, for
almost my favorite Uwe game, but not quite. The Havre does more in less time.
Oh, you did not. It doesn't have a cool Wheel of Fortune on it.
But you get piles of fish.
I did get piles of fish. Last game, it was so much fish. I never needed food. Alright, so my number 62 is new to the list, and it is legitimately new to the list.
Oh, not a forgotten...
It is not a forgotten game. It is actually a legitimately new game, and it made a fantastic impression from the get-go. That is Teotihuacan, City of Gods. Aztec greatness.
I don't think you said that right.
Listen here.
I think it's Teotihuacan.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so
Teotihuacan.
He's never gonna live that down ever.
Duacan.
Infinity. So this game is really cool, and it's got a lot going on. It's oddly enough, yes, it's dice again, but your dice, they like grow up, and
they're workers.
They're workers actually. Them. You don't really roll them. They just kind of level up, and then once they reach 6, you get to do something really cool, and then they reset to a lowly little 1 again. But boy, is that cool, and timing that to do that is fantastic. And then in the middle of all of this, you've got a cool pyramid made out of domino thingies, and there's some strategy involved with that because you're taking those pieces off. Slowly, you're tearing apart your own temple. That part I'm not sure about the theme.
You're not tearing apart your
You're
temple.
tearing apart the temple.
No, you're not.
What are you doing with it?
You're stacks of bricks and you're making the temple.
Okay, maybe you're making the temple
You're
instead.
Not tearing apart
it's more fun
the
if you tear it down.
No,
you're putting stuff on. You're building
the temple.
You're building the temple. But you get bonuses on how you put them together because if I remember right,
stack
you
over
cover
like symbols.
You get to get some cool stuff for doing that. Easier said than done because there's some strategy to that too because sometimes you build up and it's hard to get pieces to put on your temple and sometimes it it doesn't quite work right and you're like, well, bummer. And then someone comes in and fixes the problem you had and you're like, well, maybe next time I'll get the next one. So it's kind of a race to get to those points and get the really good bonuses and stuff from it. But I really appreciate that there's like the different sections have slightly different things that you're doing in it, so it's like almost, I don't want to say mini games because that's not what they are, but
it kind of is. It is
almost
not mini games. It's different areas,
actions to do to accomplish
it's
whatever the
kind
goal.
of a lot like Istanbul.
It's Istanbul, not Trajan.
You go to different areas and you get different actions. You get different resources. You get to do different things. And
Istanbul, because all I could think of was Trajan, and I'm like, no, it's not a full blown like mini game thing going on, but it's just little activity you've got within it. And Istanbul's a perfect example of that because it's all contained in that area. And you get to choose where you take your little dice guys and how you want to do that. And I like the timing of it all. I like all the different things that you get to do with them. It was a nice surprise, and it kind of was a fresh take on a lot of different things. And we haven't built... I'm trying to think of any other games where we actually build a temple truthfully and not take one apart or whatever. I don't...
You kind of minorly do it in Emotep.
Yeah, that's true. Emotep does.
Minorly.
But not to the degree that you do in this, because there's so much more going on with the building. So yeah, it's really neat, and it plays... Hold on, I'm going to look and see.
It's probably 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, it's heavy. And I forgot just how... Oh, there it is. Yeah, 90 to 120 minutes. And it's 1 to 4 players. And yeah, Hunter did something cool, and he put a lot of our games up, like, ranked them by heaviness and stuff, and I had forgotten just how heavy this was.
Oh yeah, it's a bear to teach because each one of those little boards, basically your board is almost a big rondelle. You're going around in a circle, and each board place is a different stuff. Not only is it a different action, it's a different group of actions. So you can pray, you can usually get resources or do some other action. There's choices to make there.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you have to pay a fee if there's already people there.
Oh, I forgot about the
dice
fees.
is already there. You have the leveling up the dice. You have to decide, okay, when do you ascend your die to do the city of the dead or whatever to get bonuses.
Yeah.
There's tracks you're going up on that you get different benefits for. There's the building of the temple. There's just a lot going on in this game. It is a bear.
Different to do.
It is a bear of a game.
But it's so good to play. Once you get all that down, it's pretty smooth. So it's worth it. Get somebody that already knows how to play the game to teach it to you, and it'll make it smooth sailing. Totally worth it.
Yep.
There you go.
I think we're similar in ranking. Where did I see that at?
Mine was 62.
54.
Nice, yeah. So it is pretty similar.
54.
And I'm curious to see where it goes with more plays.
Yeah, we played it 2 or 3 times right when we first got it.
And it's only been 2-player.
No, we played it. Well, I played it once. I don't know if you did. I think we played this at West Texas. 2 or 3 of us played it.
I don't think I was in on that one.
I think.
So, yeah, I wasn't in on that.
I remember playing it 3 players.
You might have played with Austin and them then.
Yeah.
I did not get to play that. So, yeah, I've only played it 2 players, and I think you're right. I think it might shift a little bit once I've played it with more people.
Well, we need to play it again. We haven't played it in a while.
It hasn't been a while.
It didn't make the resolution.
Dope. All right. We're down to the last one for today, and that is my number 61. It has dropped a teeny bit. It was 57 before. And it is one of the Felds. Dun, dun, dun.
Feld.
One of the lighter Felds in my book.
Oh, you just broke a lot of hearts, sweetie.
I know I did. You know what this guy says? It is the Castles of Burgundy. I love the Castles of Burgundy. And it's pretty stable. I mean, it was 57 last year, so it's kind of just sitting pretty about there. Don't judge a book by its cover, obviously, because then you'd be like, what am I doing in this game? I don't know. But inside, you've got your castle, and you have your lands, and you've got to do something with your lands. Will you grow chickens? Will you make, what are these all called?
We've got chickens or you grow chickens?
Both. And will you put on some nice lovely chateaus, or will you make a mine? It's got all these different things, but your boards, actually I'll show you, your boards, look at all this nonsense, all this cardboard bit stuffs. Whoa, what was that? Little tiny random piece of nonsense. So you have the center board. And this is where you get all of your different lands and resources and stuff that you're going to do, which all depend on a dice roll, which is probably why I punished this game a little bit, because the dice still love to try to mess with me a little bit. But here is what I wanted to show you. So this is your individual player board. This is your land, okay? Notice that it's color-coded, and it's got dice on it. And depending on what dice you use and what color building you've got, you're going to lay them out. Once you fill in, like, say, all these light greens, you're going to get a bonus for finishing an area. Once you finish all the greens, I think you get a bonus for doing that, too. There's different bonuses for every little thing in here. There's bonuses if you raise chickens on several different places, because they all kind of multiply off of each other. It's just a really neat game. I really like how... I do actually like how the dice work in this, even if the dice rolls don't like me back. Because in the beginning, when you're rolling, it helps you determine what resources on that board that I showed you you're going to get to choose from. And that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, there are things that you can use to mitigate that, should you not get the dice rolls that you want. There's also some resources that you can go and like sell to the ships, and they go off and do that, and you get extra benefits from that and victory points at the end of the game. Separate, this doesn't go on your property or anything like that. There's little extra dudes to let you, again, get better dice rolls up or down. I think that pretty much covered most of it. It is just really neat. Lots of fun choices. This one's one of the games that people say if you're wanting to play a Stefan Feld game, this is the best one to start with. It's a little bit lighter, on the lighter side of his games, and it's a lot easier to teach and figure out how to play. It's very intuitive. Really fun game. Where is this one on yours? I'm curious.
43.
Okay, so comparable.
Yes, just to reiterate kind of what she said, is this was our first
Feld
game,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we fell in love, and now we have almost all
the
of them.
Wall of Felds.
Almost all of them. Not all of them, but most of them.
That's true.
It's like she said, it's really the only thing that's kind of difficult to teach about this game. I mean, it's really straightforward, except for there's buildings you can build.
That's true. The buildings
in your Burgundy. you can build these buildings, but there's like 20 different kinds of buildings, and they all do something different.
That's true. That part would.
And
be
it's like
that's too much for.
So when I teach it, I usually, as I say, but there's buildings you can build. They do cool things. I'll explain them as they come out.
Yeah, it makes. Otherwise, you just sit there all day explaining all these dumb buildings.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and it's cool because once you do figure out how the buildings work, though, you can stack some great bonuses together doing those. So it's pretty
good one. Definitely, I would suggest it. It's not only is it a good first Feld,
it's a good one, period.
Probably the majority of people's favorite Feld.
Yeah, that's true too. It is. It's just, I don't know. It's a pretty smooth game. So that was 70 through 61. A lot of very heavy games sitting in that one. My next one, I'm looking at my next 10, just trying to give you a little teaser. It's fairly heavy too, actually. Fairly heavy too. So it'll be interesting. Some good stuff. So stay tuned for the next set as we get close to the midpoint of the top 100 games of all time. We'll see you next time. Bye.